Hi everyone, this is Ruchi Kulkarni and today we are going to do the chapter Glimpses of India from First Flight of Class 10th. In today's session, we will do the third part of this chapter, Tea from Assam, written by Arup Kumar Datta. We all know that Assam is known as the tea country. It has the largest concentration of tea plantations in the world. Tea is such a popular beverage that about 8 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world. In this part of the chapter, the writer Arup Kumar Datta has thrown light on the importance of tea from ancient times. Through a conversation of two friends, the writer conveys the legends associated with the discovery of tea. Let's know more about tea by reading and understanding the chapter, followed by significance of the title, summary, and question answers. But first, let's know something about its author, Arup Kumar Datta. Arup Kumar Datta was born in 1946 in Jorhat, Assam, India. He is an Indian writer and journalist from Guwahati. He has written 18 books for adults and 17 adventure novels for young people. Arup Kumar Datta is one of the best-known Indian writers for young people. Some of the notable fiction books are Kaziranga Trail, The Blind Witness, A Story About Tea, The Lure of Zangrila, and many more. Some of his notable non-fiction books are Unicornus, Cha Garam, The Tea Story, The Pipeline Saga, Guwahati High Court, History and Heritage, and many more. He has been awarded with Shankar's Award in 1979, Lifetime Achievement Honor by Association of Writers and Illustrators for Children in 2014 and Padma Shri in 2018. Pranjal, a youngster from Assam, is Rajveer's classmate at school in Delhi. Pranjal's father is the manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam, and Pranjal has invited Rajveer to visit his home during the summer vacation. This third part of the chapter Glimpses of India deals with two boys, Pranjal and Rajveer. Both are classmates in Delhi. Pranjal belongs to Assam, where his father is the manager of a tea garden, and Pranjal has invited Rajveer to visit his home during the summer vacation. Now, as they both go home, Rajveer shares some very important and interesting facts about tea. Let's read through the part 3 of this chapter and know what Rajveer has to share with Pranjal. Chai garam, garam chai, a vendor called out in a high-pitched voice. He came up to their window and asked, Chai saab? Give us 2 cups, Pranjal said. They sipped the steaming hot liquid. Steaming hot means extremely hot. Almost everyone in their compartment was drinking tea too. Do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world? Rajveer said. Phew, exclaimed Pranjal. Tea really is very popular. The train pulled out of the station. Pulled out means leave. Pranjal buried his nose in his detective book again. Rajveer too was an ardent fan of detective stories. Ardent means intense. But at the moment, he was keener on looking at the beautiful scenery. The scene is set on a train station where a tea vendor asked the two friends, Pranjal and Rajveer, if they would like to have some hot tea. Both of them buy 2 cups of tea and they start to sip in extremely hot liquid. Everyone in that compartment was also drinking tea. And just then, Rajveer shared what he knew about tea. He told that over 80 crore cups of tea were drunk every day throughout the world. And tea is very popular in this world. Just then the train left the station. Pranjal started to read his detective book again. Rajveer was also a fan of detective stories, but at that moment he was more interested in looking out of the window to look at the beautiful scenery. It was green everywhere. Rajveer had never seen so much greenery before. Then the soft green paddy fields gave way to tea bushes. Paddy fields are the rice fields. It was a magnificent view. Against the backdrop of densely wooded hills, a sea of tea bushes stretched as far as the eye could see. Dwarfing the tiny tea plants were tall, sturdy shade trees, and amidst the orderly rows of bushes busily moved doll-like figures. The scenery outside the train was absolutely green, and Rajveer had never seen so much of greenery before. Earlier, it was paddy fields, that is the rice fields, and then later, after some time, he could see lots of tea bushes. That view was very beautiful. Against the background of wooded hills, that is, hills which were full of trees, there was a sea of tea bushes. And as far as he could see, he could only see the hills which were full of tea bushes. Amongst those tea plants, there were tall, shaded trees. And amidst those row of tea bushes, he could see doll-like figures. Like he could see men and women working in the tea plantation. In the distance was an ugly building with smoke billowing out of tall chimneys. Billowing means rolling out or coming out. Hey, a tea garden! Rajiv cried excitedly. Pranjal, who had been born and brought up on a plantation, didn't share Rajiv's excitement. Oh, this is tea country now, he said. Assam has the largest concentration of plantations in the world. You will see enough gardens to last you a lifetime. I have been reading as much as I could about tea, Rajveer said. No one really knows who discovered tea, but there are many legends. Legends means traditional stories. Amongst that tree plantation or so much of greenery, Rajveer could see an ugly building which was throwing out smoke out of tall chimneys. And then Rajveer told Pranjal that it was a tea garden. But Pranjal was not very excited because he had been born and brought up on a tea plantation, since his father himself was a manager of tea garden. So Pranjal was not very excited to see a tea garden. Then Pranjal told Rajveer that this was the tea country. Assam is known to be tea country because it has the largest number of plantations in the world, and he will see enough gardens in his entire lifetime. Rajveer then told Pranjal that he had been reading so much about tea, and he also knows a lot of legends, that is traditional stories about tea. Now let's see whether Rajveer shares these stories with Pranjal or not. What legends? Well, there's the one about the Chinese emperor who always boiled water before drinking it. One day, a few leaves of the twigs burning under the pot fell into the water, giving it a delicious flavor. Delicious means tasty. It is said they were tea leaves. Tell me another, scoffed Pranjal. Scoffed means mocked. We have an Indian legend too. Bodhidharma, an ancient Buddhist ascetic. Ascetic means hermit. Cut off his eyelids because he felt sleepy during meditations. 10 tea plants grew out of the eyelids. The leaves of these plants, when put in hot water and drunk, banished sleep. Banished means removed. When Rajveer hinted about the legends attached to tea, that is the traditional stories related to tea, Pranjal wanted to know more about them. Rajveer shared the first story, which was about a Chinese emperor. This Chinese emperor used to always drink boiled water. So one day when he was boiling the water, a few leaves of the twigs that were burning under the pot fell into the water. And those leaves gave a delicious or tasty flavor to that water. These leaves were tea leaves. Rajveer then shared another legend, and he said that there was a hermit named Bodhidharma. He cut off his eyelids because he used to feel sleepy during meditations. And out of those eyelids, 10 tea plants grew. The leaves of these plants, when put in water, can remove or banish sleep. In other words, whenever someone drinks tea, he does not feel sleepy. Tea was first drunk in China, Rajveer added, as far back as 2700 BC. In fact, words such as tea, chai, and chini are from Chinese. Tea came to Europe only in 16th century and was drunk more as medicine than as beverage. Beverage means drink. The train clattered into Mariani Junction. The boys collected their luggage and pushed their way to the crowded platform. Pushed their way means moved through. Pranjal's parents were waiting for them. Soon they were driving towards Dekiabadi, the tea garden managed by Pranjal's father. An hour later, the car veered sharply off the main road. Veered means changed direction. They crossed a cattle bridge and entered Dekiabadi tea estate. Rajveer then shared some more interesting information about tea. He told that tea was drunk first in China. That was around 2700 BC. And the words like tea, chai, or chini also come from Chinese. Tea came to Europe only in the 16th century, and then at that time it was drunk as a medicine, not as a drink. As they were engaged in this conversation, the train soon reached Mariani Junction. Both the boys collected their luggage and they got down off the train and moved towards the platform. Pranjal's parents were there waiting for them. They had come to pick them up. And soon they were driving towards Dekiabadi. Dekiabadi is the name of the place where Pranjal's father was managing a tea garden. After an hour, the car took a sharp turn from the main road and they crossed a cattle bridge and then entered Dekiabadi tea estate. On both sides of the gravel road were acre upon acre of tea bushes. Gravel road means sandy road. All neatly pruned to the same height. Pruned means cut or trimmed. Groups of tea pluckers with bamboo baskets on their backs, wearing plastic aprons, were plucking the newly sprouted leaves. Pranjal's father slowed down to allow a tractor pulling a trailer load of tea leaves to pass. This is the second flush or sprouting period, isn't it, Mr. Barua? Rajveer asked. It lasts from May to July and yields the best tea. You seem to have done your homework before coming, Pranjal's father said in surprise. Yes, Mr. Barua, Rajveer admitted, but I hope to learn much more while I am here. When all of them were going towards their home, Rajveer observed that the road wasn't a proper tar road. It was a gravel road, that is a sandy road. And he could see that on both sides of that road there were tea bushes and they were extended to acres of ground. They all were neatly pruned, that is trimmed to the same height, so they all looked very beautiful. There were people who were tea pluckers. These are the people who were plucking the tea leaves and putting them in their bamboo baskets which they had kept on their backs. These tea pluckers were wearing plastic aprons and they were plucking the newly sprouted leaves which are used to make tea. Pranjal's father was driving the car and then he slowed down because a tractor which was pulling a trailer, this trailer was full of tea leaves, wanted to pass. So Pranjal's father gave way to that tractor. And just then Rajveer asked Pranjal's father, whose name is Mr. Barua, he asked that this must be the second flush or second sprouting period, and this lasts from May to July and gives the best tea of the year. Pranjal's father was very surprised and was very impressed with Rajveer's homework or Rajveer's knowledge. And just then Rajveer admitted that yes, he did have some knowledge earlier, but now while he'll be here with them, he hopes to learn much more. The story Tea from Assam revolves around the famous beverage tea, telling us more about its history and discovery. During their journey by train, Rajveer shares some legends related to discovery of tea leaves. Therefore, through the conversation of Pranjal and Rajveer, the writer Arup Kumar Datta educates us about the popularity and importance of tea. Since Assam is the largest concentration of tea plantations in the world, therefore, the title Tea from Assam is apt for this story. Wait for the summary and question answers which I am going to flash just now in a moment to you. But before I leave, let me remind you that if you like my videos, please share them and subscribe to my channel and grow with me. Also, do not forget to press the bell icon because that's how you're going to get notifications about my new uploads. I'll see you again in my next video. Take good care of yourself. Best wishes and goodbye.